Okay, I'm making some strip quilting. I have a strip bin that has all kinds of fabrics in it, so I have to empty it out, sort them, and pick out some colors that I want to use. I usually just hang them on my wall and sort out the colors as I'm going along. Once I get enough colors, I decide on a pattern, and this time I'm making a big zero. You can see it there on the left-hand side. I've just made a paper pattern from my imagination of a zero, and I cut out pieces of fabric and sewed them together. Once I had one zero made, it was easy to make a second zero. And finally, I decided to use some of the purples, which I'm doing right now. So this is the year 2020. So I have two big zeros. And over here, I've just made my pattern for the two. All I did to make my pattern was take a piece of paper and make sure it was big enough for what I wanted. And I cut it out. Oops. I cut it out. See, I've got lots of marker marks on there until I got a style I like. So I just cut it out and pinned it on a piece of fabric backing so I can pin through it. Then what I do is I take my strips and the pattern is behind it here. Pattern is behind it. Can you see that? It's kind of hard to see. Pattern is behind. So all I do is I want to mark the top here and the top here. Then I'm going to cut across on that curved line, and I'll make my color for the number in here. Then I'll re-add this piece of purple onto it until I get down to the angle of the two. And then I'll add yellow until it gets down to there. I'll add another piece of purple for the background there, some more yellow at the bottom, and the purple will end up the piece. And then I'll have a strip of yellow and purple all the way through. So here I go. Top here, mark it. Top here, mark it. Then I'll take that off, put it on my desk, and I will add the yellow. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so there are the two marks I made from the wall. So I drew a bit of a line just below it, about 1/4 of an inch below it, on a curve, and then underneath I put some yellow fabric. I've sewed 2 strips together to make it wide enough, and that's the right side up. So as long as the right side is up, that works just fine. Now I'm just going to cut across that line through both fabrics. The piece underneath here goes in my garbage. And then this piece here will get sewn to there. Now I know this is a bit wider. It doesn't have to be, but it just happened to be here. When I'm done, I'll straighten up the whole row and make it a nice straight row. So I'll sew this piece in, and then I will measure for the next purple part. All right, so there's the seam I just put in right up there. Now I'm going to go down to where the pink paper pattern is again. And right here, I made another mark on the yellow, and I'm going to make a mark here on this side, and I'm going to cut that with the next purple piece underneath. So I just lay it down on my desktop, without wasting much fabric, I move the mark here. Where's my video? I move the mark here to the top of the purple fabric underneath. And I make sure that the fabrics are straight. And then I will just cut across here with my rotary cutter, like so. And then that seam there will be sewn. And I'll do the same thing farther down here to do the part of the two at the bottom of the two. So there's my first strip, the purple and yellow gold, and it goes down beside the ruler right there. There's my first strip of my two, following the pattern that I have pinned onto the wall. It's pretty fast and easy to do improvised sewing like this, and especially when things are in big pieces. It works really fast. So now I'll just sew a couple more strips together and do the next part. I could either go to the left or go to the right, and I'll finish one side and then I'll work towards the other side. So I'll keep you posted. So now I've got a two made in a dark purple with gold, and I place it next to the 0 I have, and I'll make another two for the top corner out of the lighter purple and yellow gold, and then I'm going to just decide where I want them placed, and I'll sew the 4 quadrants together. 2 0 2 0. Here we are. They're light and dark together at the top, and dark and light together at the bottom, or light and light on the top and dark on the bottom. It's all just whatever you decide you want to do. They're all straight lines. It's easy to sew together now. And when it's all quilted and bound like this, it's a good year.